Welcome to ShareBuilt Uganda e-learning, and my name is Nelson, and this is my telephone number, our email. In today's lesson we want to be looking at what we call measurements. So under these measurements, that is specifically length, and we need to understand more about length. And in this length, that is it is done even in our real life movements. The time you move from one point to another, you will have covered a distance which is going to be called length. Okay, so now let's get started as we understand more about this length and see how can we solve out questions or see how we can get what it means by length and how we can apply it. Okay, so let's see how this when it comes to length, we simply mean the distance. Okay, we simply mean what we call a distance. So in this distance, if you are to cover a certain distance, then you should also be able to think about the measurements. Okay, if you cover a distance, let me say from your work to your from your workplace to home, or from home to your workplace, you should have covered a certain amount of distance. So that's when our basic units of measurements comes from. That is the kilometers, centimeters, meters, millimeters, etc. So also now when it comes to these basic units, we should also be able to know more about conversion. So if you have moved a certain distance, is it going to be fixed that it is 1 meter? It should be 1 meter either with some centimeters, either with some millimeters. Okay, so now that's when it comes to converting. Okay, converting these basic units. So finally now we say that length could be the distance from one point to another. So if it is the distance from one point to another, how do you indicate or show someone that this is a distance covered? Okay, so in indicating that this distance is covered, we can use what we call lines. Okay, that is drawing from a point of start to a point of ending. So now let me demonstrate this more here. Okay, for example, if we have our point A and our point B, we shall assume that maybe this is someone who left his place and went to another place. So we can indicate and show that the someone moved using lines. So when we are to write a line, we write our line as AB. Then we put what? We put a bar up. Okay, so now we can now be able to tell the measurements. Was it in centimeters or decimeters or kilometers or meters? So now here it was in what? It was in centimeters. Okay, so here now we can be able to tell that someone moved from point A up to point B, and he moved a certain amount of distance, which is in centimeters. Okay, so to demonstrate this more, we should also be able to understand how this is applied in our real life. And now if we apply this in our real life, we shall assume we have a girl here. Okay, this is our lady, and this lady is from home. Okay, this is the home. Maybe this lady is going to school, so we have a school here. Okay, so this is what? This is their school. Okay, this is what? This is their school. Okay, that is their what? Their school with this. Okay, so now we can say this is their school, and this lady has moved from her place of her home, which is there. Let's call this point A. Then to school is going to call it point B. So the distance covered from here up to here by this lady is going to be the what? it is referred to as the length. Okay, so when he applies this distance should be in what we call centimeters or meters or kilometers. Okay, in that kind. So we have to know the distance covered by this lady. Okay, so that's when we bring out the measurements. Okay, that's how the measurements comes in. And we also have to know if this lady moved a distance, if it is it in only kilometers or is it only in centimeters. So that's also we have to know more about the conversion. Okay, conversion of these basic units. Okay, conversion of basic units. Okay, so when you talk about conversion of these basic units, we should also be able to know what we call kilometers, hectometers, decameters, then meters. Okay, then decentimeters, then meters. Okay, decentimeters, then centimeters, then millimeters. Okay, so we should also be able to know these basic units. So how do we tell that how many kilometers are in meters? Okay, for us to be able to tell how many kilometers in meters, okay, what do we do? For us to tell, okay, let me give this example. For example, kilometers to centimeters. So we want to know how many kilometers are in centimeters. What do we do? What to do is we bring our one where there is a kilometer, then we also trace where there is a centimeter. So the remaining here we put zeros, okay, up to our value, which is a centimeter. So now for this, we can now be able to tell and say 1 kilometer is going to be equal to how many zeros? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is going to be equal to 1, 4, 5. Okay, this is going to be now centimeters. Okay, if you want to tell meters to centimeters, okay, meters to centimeters, how do we tell? We have our meter here. Okay, we put our one here, then the rest, okay, our one here, the rest are what? Zeros. So we say 1, and this is going to be 100. So here we can say 1 meter is going to be equal to 100 centimeters. Okay, so also if it comes to a meter to a millimeter, meters to millimeters, how do we state? I'll have meters here, 1, 2, up to a millimeter. So 1 meter is going to be equal to 1,000 millimeters. Okay, so that's how we make the conversion of these basic units, from one basic unit to another, from a big one to a small, something of that kind. So with that demonstration, we can now be able to tell what length is, the distance from one point to another. Then we can now see out how do we work up with these examples. So in also working out with these examples, what to know more is this note. We have let me write a note. Okay, so when we have a small unit to a big unit, okay, let's start with what? We have a big unit to small unit. Okay, so here we do what? Shall be able to multiply. Then it is vice versa, small unit to big. Okay, to big we shall do what? We shall divide. So this is a note that we also need to understand. For example, if we have let me say we have centimeters to millimeters. Okay, we have known that 1 centimeter is going to be equal to 10 what? 10 millimeter. Okay, so we want to change this centimeter to millimeters. We have said a big unit to what? A big unit to a small, we shall multiply. So that simply means that we can have our 1 centimeter. We shall just have our 1 times what? Times 10. So this is going to be our 10 what? 10 millimeters. Okay, so now we are going to be applying this concept. Okay, this concept in our what? In our examples, right? So let's look at how these people always set out some examples, and we work upon that. Okay, so now this is an example which is given. This is an example which is given, and in this example which is given, they wanted us to change how many millimeters are in centimeters, millimeters to centimeters. Okay, so this is how many millimeters are. We have our 8 what? 8 centimeters to millimeters. Okay, so this is what? We have a big unit that we want to change to a small what? To a small unit. So we said up here that when you have a big unit to a small unit, we do what? We multiply. Now if we have our 8 centimeters and we want to change it to what? To millimeters. That simply means if we know that 1 centimeter is going to be equal to 10 millimeters. Okay, so that simply means we shall have our 8 centimeters is going to be equal to 1. Okay, is going to be equal to our 8 times our 10. That's all right. So now here we shall be able to say that our 8 times 10 shall get our 10 what? This is going to be millimeters. Okay, small unit to a big unit. Okay, so when you also look at another example here, was convert 120 millimeters to centimeters. We are now changing millimeters. Okay, millimeters to centimeters. So what do we do here? What do we do? What do we do when we convert? We are going to convert our what? We are going to convert our millimeters to centimeters. Okay, so when you look at this example, what is given here? Okay, let me get my pen here. So we said that when you are converting a small unit to a big unit, we do what? We divide. So if we know that our 1 centimeter is going to be equal to 10 millimeters. Okay, so now when we have our 120 millimeters, 120 millimeters is going to be equal to what? Is going to be equal to we have our 1 centimeter is equal to 10 millimeters. Okay, so now here we shall have our 1 out of 10. Okay, then we multiply it by our 120. Why do we say 1 out of 10? It comes from here. When we have 1 centimeter going equal to 10 millimeters, this is the same as 1 millimeter should also be equal to 10 centimeter. Okay, so such that when you want a millimeter, we can now do what? We can now vary this as our millimeters going 1 millimeter being equal to 10 centimeters. Okay, so now here this is where we derive our answer from, that our 1 out of 10, because we said that when we are dealing with a small unit to a big unit, we do what? We divide. So now here we shall still get our answers, our 120 out of what? Out of 10. Okay, so now here we can be able to get this. Okay, so when you cancel 0 and the 0, this remain is 12. So this is going to be what? Is going to be centimeters. So when we divide our small unit with a big unit, they have to reduce. It was very big, but it has reduced to 12. Remember, it was 120. So we shall now have done our conversion with what? With centimeters to millimeters and millimeters to centimeters. Okay, that's our session for today, and we hope everyone has been able to pick out with some concept of calculating this. We shall do more on some more lessons about changing meters to millimeters, kilometers to meters, but for now I should be able to stop here. We thank you very much for being part of this. Please be able to check out on our playlist and subscribe or comment on the way how you want this to be best for you. Okay, stay blessed. Nice moment.